Yes. Okay. So yesterday we finished half of that. So we are continuing. So whoever is joining today, I think you, because you have some knowledge, you can manage. Okay. For the time being, we are reading this. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji.
Okay. So, so like, until we finish this introduction, we will continue reading because every word is important. And of course, you will be also reading along with me. And once we start the shloka, then I will explain and we can discuss on that. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. Now, I'll just start a little bit and then you can continue, all of you. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram. It's okay. Now I'll read. No. Now I'll read. Afterwards, you people can take turns and read. Okay. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahusvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshirnaradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime सर्वं एतदृतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवा न दानवा. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, oh Lord, can understand your personality." So Arjuna is able to understand that Krishna is God, okay? He's a supreme person. Because even the great sages like Narada, Sita, Vyasa, they all confirm this, okay? And he says, I completely have faith in you and I accept whatever you say as the absolute, okay? Now, but others like the demigods and the demons and all, they cannot understand Krishna completely, okay? Now you can take turn. Tanvi, will you start reading first? After reading Bhagavad Gita, from there you start.
Okay, Mataji. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate about the purest."
Read from after hearing Bhagavad Gita.
After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepts Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahma, even living being in Brahma. Brahma. But the Supreme living being of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Brahma. Brahma,
Brahman.
Param Dharma,
Dhamma.
Param Dharma means that he is the supreme rest or about of everything. Pavitra means that he is poor, pure, and then by material. Contamination. Purusham means that he is the supreme enjoyer. Shashudam, eternal, divyam, transcendental, Adi, Devam, the original supreme personality of Godhead, Ajam, the unborn, and Vibhan, the greatest. Now, one many think that because Krishna was a friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of flattery, but Arjuna just to drive out this kind of doubt from the behind minds of the readers of Bhagavad Gita. Subtractions, these phrases in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead, not only by himself but by authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasadeva. These are great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas. Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etat rhythm convey I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand and that it cannot be known even by the great demigods. This means that the Lord cannot even be known by personalities greater than human beings. So, how can a human being understand Lord Sri Krishna without becoming his devotee?
So here Arjuna says it is not only he is praising Krishna and says he accepts whatever Krishna says, because he also gives a proof, like, even great sages like Narada, Vyasadeva, they also yeah, ma. I'm just explaining.
You show your face?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So now, like, he also says great sages with the scriptural proof, like, they have proved that Krishna is the greatest among all, like, he's the greatest. So he says, but he's very difficult to be understood by the demigods also, who are greater than the human beings. And so, how can a human being understand Lord Krishna without becoming his devotee? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
ఎవరంగా ఉండేది వాళ్ళు ఉండరు, వీళ్ళే
excuse
ఉండరు
me,
క్లయింట్ లో
excuse me, can somebody unmute yourself?
Mataji, you can mute him by yourself.
అంత తొందరగా ఏం అవ్వదు బ్రో పని.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, so he says, when even the demigods cannot understand Krishna, how can ordinary human beings understand? That is why to understand Krishna, we have to be a devotee of Krishna. Then we can easily understand Krishna. That's what is told here. Okay. Now, Sumati Mataji, can you continue?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandatna Mataji. Please
Dandavat.
forgive me for the delay in
No,
joining.
no problem. No problem, Mataji. After this Krishna Amrita Mataji, you can continue. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Krishna Mataji. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nuisance of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non existence. Our existence is eternal. But somehow or other, we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist. Out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he doesn't want suffering, but rather wants to make a solution to all suffering, then one is not to be considered a perfect human being. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jignasa. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the Absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they came from and where they shall go after death or proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life when man forgets that purpose. Even then, out of many, many human beings who awaken, there may be one who actually enters the spirit of understanding his position. And for him, this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Actually, we are all swallowed by the tigress of nations, but the Lord is very merciful upon living entities, especially human beings. To this end, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, making his friend Arjuna his student. Being an associate of Lord Krishna, Arjuna was above all ignorance, but Arjuna was put into ignorance on the battlefield of Kurukshetra just to question Lord Krishna about the problems of life, so that the Lord could explain them for the benefit of future generations of human beings and chalk out the plan of life. Then man could act accordingly and perfect the mission of human life. The subject of the Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of 5 basic truths. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entities, jivas. There is Ishvara, which means the controller, and there are jivas, the living entities, which are controlled. If a living entity says that he is not controlled, but that he is free, then he is insane. The living being is controlled in every respect, at least in his conditioned life. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter deals with the Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the Jivas, the controlled living entities, Prakriti, material nature, and time, the duration of existence of the whole universe or the manifestation of material nature. And karma, activity, are also discussed. The cosmic manifestation is full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what God is, what the living entities are, what Prakriti is, what the cosmic manifestation is, how it is controlled by time, and what the activities of the living entities are. Shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes, until I say stop. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Out of these 5 basic subject matters in the Bhagavad Gita, it is established that the Supreme Godhead or Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. The living beings are in quality like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material nature, as will be explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord. As Lord Krishna says, Maya takshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. This material in nature is working under my direction. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing could be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, a child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful to be able to run without a horse or other animal pulling it. But a sane man knows the nature of the automobile's engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the driver under whose direction everything is working. Now the jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapters, as his parts and parcels. A particle of gold is also gold. A drop of water from the ocean is also salty. And similarly, we, the living entities, being part and parcel of the Supreme Controller, Ishvara or Bhagavan, Lord Sri Krishna, have all the qualities of the Supreme Lord in minute quantity, because we are minute Ishvaras, subordinate Ishvaras. We are trying to control nature as presently we are trying to control space or planets. And this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have a tendency to lord it over material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, thanks, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranams. So what Krishna is telling here is anybody who needs to understand this, they need to be very humble, and only then, like that is why Arjuna is able to, because also he accepts Krishna, and also since he is a friend and also a relative, Krishna is explaining to him all this confidential knowledge. Actually, Arjuna is a Nitya Siddha devotee. He is not under any kind of illusion, but Krishna puts him under illusion so that he asks all the questions and all the doubts, and Krishna clarifies it for the benefit of the humanity. Okay, that is why he gets bewildered and he says, I am so, like, I do not want to fight like against my relatives. He's getting bewildered. It's just a pastime so that Krishna can explain the Bhagavad Gita to all of us. Okay. And see, actually, all of us are suffering in this material world. Material world itself means full of anxiety. We are never at peace. Okay, we are never happy at all. Whatever the highest, like thing is provided to us, still we are anxious. Like we are never completely happy. So the only solution to be happy is to attain Krishna. Okay, to attain the spiritual world. So what do we do? Usually we keep on suffering for many lifetimes, but still we continue doing the same thing. Only a few people will understand that there is something we should know. Only then we can come out of this suffering. So what is that thing? That is our eternal nature is to be the servant of Krishna, to please Krishna, okay, to do service to Krishna. If we do this, automatically we become blissful and we can be with Krishna and we can enjoy with him, okay, and with his devotees, okay. So this enquiry process is Atho Brahma Jignasa. Okay, so once we come to this state, then we will gain some knowledge, and then we will attain the spiritual world and we'll be happy. And in Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 things that are explained. So they are the Supreme Lord, okay, and then the jivas, we are the jivas. Supreme Lord is Krishna, we are the jivas. Then Kala, that is the time. Under time's control, everything is taking place. From Mahavishnu, the jivas are coming, we are all coming out. And then the universe is being maintained, and then after a while, at the end of day of Brahma, again it's getting annihilated. All this happening through the process of time, okay? Kala. And karma. What is karma? We are whatever actions, every day we are doing some actions. Okay, every action has a reaction. And so when we do something good, again we'll have to be born again, and then we do good to somebody, they will again, we will be born again, they will do some good for us. You do something ill activities, bad activity to somebody, again the same thing, you will have to be born and you have to get all those bad activities, like people will do harm to you because you did harm to them. So this is karma. So okay, so these are the things that are discussed in these are the main aspects. Okay, and also prakriti. So this is in the fifth one, like what is prakriti? It is material nature. Material nature is, we have the spiritual world, we have the material world. Okay, this is maya. So this we will go into detail shortly. Okay, so that's what. One second. So now what is material nature? Can Krishnamrita Mataji start reading, please?
Yes, Mataji. My humble obeisances to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Our humble obeisances to Bhanuswami Maharaj, to Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all the Acharyas and all the Vaishnavas and all the devotees who have assembled here. Thank you so much. Yes.
What is material nature? This is also explained in the Gita as inferior prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as the superior prakriti. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord, just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is the predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to Gita, the living entities, all the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Aparayam itastav anyam prakritim viddhime param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior prakriti, but beyond this is another prakriti, jiva bhutam, the living entities.
1 second, Mataji. Can we just wait for a minute? I'll call Tanvi. I don't know. She's lost control. She's not.
Sure.
I think she's joined again. 1 second. Tanvi, are you back? Yeah. Yeah. Continue, Krishnamrita Mataji. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Can you read this? What is material nature again? Because she's joined. She's very much interested.
Sure.
Yeah.
What is material nature? This is also explained in the Gita as inferior prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as superior prakriti. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord, just as the activities of a wife are controlled by a husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is the predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, all the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Aparayam itastav anyam prakritim viddhime param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior Prakriti, but beyond this is another Prakriti, jiva bhutam, the living entities. Material nature itself is constituted by 3 qualities: the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Above these modes, there is eternal time, and by a combination of these modes of nature and under the control and purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. These activities are being carried out from time immemorial, and we are suffering or enjoying the fruits of our activities. For instance, suppose I am a businessman and have worked very hard with intelligence and have amassed a great bank balance. Then I am an enjoyer. But then I say I have lost all my money in business, then I am a sufferer. Similarly, in every field of life, we enjoy the results of our work or we suffer the results. This is called karma. Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, nature, Kala, eternal time, and Karma, activity, are all explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Out of these 5, the Lord, the living entities, material nature, and time are eternal. The manifestation of Prakriti may be temporary, but it is not false. Some philosophers say that the manifestation of material nature is false, but according to the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita or according to the philosophy of the Vaisnavas, this is not so. The manifestation of the world is not accepted as false, it is accepted as real but temporary. It is likened unto a cloud which moves across the sky, or the coming of the rainy season which nourishes grains. As soon as the rainy season is over and as soon as the cloud goes away, all the crops which were nourished by the rain dry up. Similarly, this material manifestation takes place at a certain interval, stays for a while, and then disappears. Such are the workings of Prakriti. But this cycle is working eternally. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal, it is not false. The Lord refers to this as my Prakriti. This material nature is the separated energy of the Supreme Lord, and similarly, the living entities are also energy of the Supreme Lord, although they are not separated but eternally related. So the Lord, the living entity, material nature, and time are all interrelated, and we are all eternal. However, the other item, karma, is not eternal. The effects of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reactions of all these activities, but this is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is that of Supreme Consciousness. The Jivas, or the living entities, being parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. Both the living entity and material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord, but one of the two, the Jiva, is conscious. The other Prakriti is not conscious. This is the difference. Therefore, the Jiva Prakriti is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's. The Lord's is supreme consciousness. However, and one should not claim that the Jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The living being cannot be supremely conscious at any stage of his perfection, and the theory that he can be so is a misleading theory. Conscious he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious. The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kshetragna, conscious, as is the living being. But the living being is conscious of his particular body, where the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Because he lives in the heart of every living being, he is conscious of the psychic moments of the particular Jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as the controller, and that he is giving directions for the living entity to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes a determination to act in a certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma. After giving up one type of body, he enters another type of body as we take off and put on clothes. As the soul thus migrates, he suffers the actions and reactions of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, and understands what sort of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we stated that of the 5 items, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, time, and karma, 4 are eternal, whereas karma is not eternal. Supreme conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. Both the conscious of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that the consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of the material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be perverted reflectly by the covering of material circumstances, just as light reflected through colored glass may appear to be a certain color. But the consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected. Lord Krishna says, Matyakshena Prakriti. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. If he were so affected, he would be unfit to speak on transcendental matters as he does in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. So the Lord is not materially contaminated. Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that we have to purify this materiality and that will make us happy. It is not that we have to cease all activities. Rather, our activities are purified, and purified activities are called bhakti. Activities in bhakti appear to be like ordinary activities, but they are not contaminated. An ignorant person may see a devotee is acting or working like an ordinary man, but the person with poor fund of knowledge does not know that the activities of the devotee or the Lord are not contaminated by impure consciousness or matter. They are transcendental to the three modes of nature. We should know, however, that at this point our consciousness is contaminated.
Okay.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes, ma.
Okay, after I read this, I'm a student. I'm doing my final year.
Oh.
And even I'm practicing bhakti at home since my childhood.
Okay.
Either it be Krishna bhakti or Rama bhakti, anything.
Okay.
But here they're saying a bhakta is more pure than an ordinary person. A devotee is more purer than an ordinary person.
Yes.
So I got a little confused whether a person who takes celibacy, brahmacharya, and he goes into the path of bhakti is better, or a person who does his daily work along with bhakti is better.
Yes, that's a very good question. So, see, doing bhakti when somebody is renouncing and taking sannyasa, that's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, in that case, brahmacharya or sannyasa, whatever it is, there are they are still coming under varnashrama. In varnashrama, I hope everybody knows that we have the brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, and the shudras, and below that the mlechas, like they're not coming under the varnashrama. So bhakti is beyond all the ashramas also. Okay. It's not that if somebody is in the varnashrama, they are doing bhakti, they are great. Even sannyasa brahmachari is coming under what? Under varnashrama. So it is not like, if somebody is a brahmachari or a sannyasa, they are greater than a grihastha, like somebody who's still a householder like us and still doing bhakti. Okay. Bhakti is pure. It is not dependent on any ashrama or any varna or anything at all. Okay. So if here, there are three kinds of people coming: Swanishta, Parinishtita, and Nirapeksha. Okay. Swanishta is the person who is within the varnashrama. Okay, like whether it's brahmachari or whatever varna. This brahmacharis and sannyasis, they're coming under the varnas. Okay, grihastha, these are all varna, and ashrama is. Varna is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Okay. And ashrama is sannyasa, brahmacharya, grihastha, like this. I hope all of you are understanding. So, this Swanishta devotee is the one who is following all the varnashrama activities and then is doing bhakti. Okay. Yeah, Tanvi, is it very tough for you to understand? Yeah, that's what I am explaining. So this whoever is following this varnashrama, the social rules and regulations, and doing bhakti, that person is called a swanishta. Okay. And parinishtita is a person who's not going to follow, who will still follow the varnashrama dharma for the sake of society, but he is not interested in that. Okay. And is doing bhakti. So this is higher than the person who is simply following the varnashrama, who really believes in the varnashrama. Okay. Because he does not have complete faith in Krishna, so he's following varnashrama and then he's doing little bit bhakti. Okay. But parinishtita, like all of us, like ISKCON devotees, we are also following some social regulations, okay, for the sake of society, but we have complete faith in Krishna, and we are not we are mainly focusing on the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. We do some samskaras, like if there's a wedding, or if a child is born or anything, we do those samskaras for the sake of society, but we mainly chant the Hare Krishna mantra even in doing those festive, those samskara times also. Okay. This person Parinishtita is better than the Swanishta. And the Nirapeksha, like you have some Babajis and all
Mataji, sorry to interrupt. So you say, along with fulfilling our social
Yes.
responsibilities,
Yes.
if we don't give up on bhakti, then they can be a good
Pure,
devotee.
that is also pure. That is also pure. Because Rupa Goswami says in sadhana bhakti, no, it's not that only when you go to Uttama bhakti, it is pure bhakti. Even in sadhana stage also, when we do like this, that is also pure bhakti. So we are pure. Okay. So this is also very higher level.
Mataji,
Okay.
so one more question, then I'll
No, you can ask as many other questions you want. That is the main idea, like of continue. Ma.
Mataji, how can a devotee become a Param Vaishnava or a Param devotee?
Yes. So now let me finish off this Nirapeksha also. Okay, let me
Because
finish off.
I'll explain you with an example.
Yeah.
If you know Salbeg in Jagannath Puri, there was
Okay.
this devotee named Salbeg who wrote
Okay.
Ayanila Saila for Jagannath.
Okay.
So what you actually happened was his mother is a Hindu
Okay.
princess. She was forced to marry a Muslim king.
Okay.
She gave birth to Salbeg, who was a Muslim because his father was a Muslim. But
Okay.
he used to pray to Jagannath all the time.
Okay.
So my question is, even though unwillingly she turned herself into a Muslim because of the circumstances, and yet she is a great devotee, will
Okay.
it affect her spiritual consciousness in any way, or is she refrained from becoming a Param Vaishnava because of her religion?
But she's interested in worshipping
Prays
Krishna.
to Krishna all the time.
She's then that is all. Manasa puja is so powerful. Even if you're not able to, because of the circumstances, even for example, even Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, our acharyas, the Shad Goswamis, like we worship now every day. They also amongst that the senior most is Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. These people were also under Hussein Shah, like when he was ruling like at that time even they were also like but they were also very much Krishna devotees. Okay, so then finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they followed his instructions and they came out of the thing, even though they were also, they had Muslim names also. And then after they came out only they got the names Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. So even they were also Muslims, but still for a period of time, but they're in their hearts they were only having Krishna. Okay, so that's okay. Whatever you have in your bhava is more important than your external things. Okay, whether it's a name or religion, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Mataji, so these atheists who don't believe in God, Krishna says, I mean, I read it in a scripture, I don't remember the name, but Krishna says, no, then like comparatively with the normal devotee, he looks faster to atheists, like who don't believe because they are doing Krishna Ninda or something. So Krishna is saying like, okay, at least they're remembering me in this way. I mean,
Yes,
even though it is
yes,
now,
yes.
even though it is Nama Chintana, but they are insulting the God. Krishna feels like he doesn't care about the insulting. He just cares that they're remembering me. So he gives more punya to them. Is that true?
Right. Yes, wonderful. So if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, the essence of Chaitanya Charitamrita is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Okay, these are the two tenets of this Chaitanya, essence of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So what they're telling is, even a person who hates Kamsa, Kamsa, you all of you know, he wanted to kill Krishna. Okay, he is the uncle of Krishna, Devaki's brother. Okay, so all the time Kamsa and his friends, the demons, they were meditating on Krishna in hatred. But still what happened? They got liberation. Okay, that is better. The liberation is not a great thing, because attaining prema like to Krishna and being with Krishna and doing service to Krishna is higher than getting simply liberated. But still, at least they got liberation because continuously they were thinking of Krishna. That is better, no? Than the people who don't even think of Krishna. So it's better to think of Krishna in hatred than being not thinking of Krishna. Yeah, good question.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. And now here what Krishna say, Bhagavad Gita, what they're saying is, so there is Prakriti. Okay, all of us are Prakriti. Only Krishna is Purusha. Okay, Krishna is only male. Like everything else is female. Not, you don't take it in a literal sense. What they're meaning by this is, there is the Prakriti. There are two kinds of Prakriti. One is the Jiva Prakriti, and the other is the material nature. Okay, the that one. So out of these two, the material nature is not conscious, but we are superior and we are conscious, and also we are conscious but still we are not supremely conscious like the like Krishna. Okay, and we can never be perfect at any stage. Like you have gold in the mine and you have gold in your jewelry piece. The gold in the mine is so huge. Okay, but we are very tiny, like so, like that. And also we do different kinds of actions, and then we get different kinds of body according to our actions. Because of the reactions, we keep getting different kinds of body. So this happens continuously, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. The jiva, the soul, it's getting migrating into different bodies, and it keeps on going because we are in ignorance. We are continuing in this stage. But if a person becomes sane and he understands what sort of activities he should adopt, that is what serve Krishna, then he's out of all these things. Therefore, okay, so he's out of his actions and reactions, and then he attains Krishna. Therefore, we stated that of the 5 items, Ishvara, that is Supreme Person Krishna, Jiva, that is we ourselves, okay, then Prakriti, Jiva, it can be any body, we are the supreme, we are the soul, okay. The soul can be, that is, soul is called the Jiva. We can take any body, like human body or a tree or like anything, hen, goat, or like that, anything, demigod, even Brahma is also a Jiva, okay. And then, so Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti. Prakriti is the material nature, time, and karma. Of these 5 items, 4 are eternal. Okay, whereas karma is not eternal. Once we get some knowledge and once we worship Krishna, okay, then our through the parampara system, we get the knowledge and we worship Krishna, then we are out of this karma. So karma is not eternal. These 4 are eternal: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and time. Okay. And then the supreme conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. How? Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It's not consciousness. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of matter, because matter is not conscious. Okay. Some people, they think it's a mistaken idea, like them, they think matter is conscious. This theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. But consciousness can be pervertedly reflected by the covering of the material circumstances. Just as light reflected through colored glass may appear to be a certain color, but the consciousness of the Lord, it is never materially contaminated. He is always pure. Okay. Suppose I have association with a very pure devotee. Okay, then my consciousness will be like him, like that pure devotee. If I'm associating with a materialistic person, it immediately my consciousness will be materially affected. Okay, so that is why we should very carefully choose our association. Okay. And also, activities in bhakti might appear like very ordinary activities. See, we are taking a flower, and then it is just a material thing. Flower is a material thing, but we offer it to Krishna. What will happen? It will become Krishnanized. Okay, so then that is bhakti. But it might appear very simple, but it is bhakti. Suppose now we are eating food. If we simply cook the food and only eat it for our pleasure, what happens? We are killing the plants. Even if we are not going to eat meat or anything, even if you are going to eat only pure vegetarian food, still we are cutting those plants and killing them and eating them. Okay, so that is also sin. So naturally we are getting reaction for that. But the same food, when we cook for Krishna, we offer it to Krishna, and we take that becomes prasad, and it is no karma is incurred. So there is a difference. Though it is like a very ordinary activity, there is a difference. Okay, they are transcendental to the 3 modes of nature. What are the 3 modes of nature? Being in ignorance, then in passion, that is okay, and then in goodness. Okay, these are the 3. But bhakti is beyond these 3 modes of nature. It is Shuddha Sattva. Okay. Okay, can somebody, 1 second. Janakiraman Prabhu, somebody left. Oh, Krishnamrita Mataji left. Okay. Now, Janakiraman Prabhu, you want to read? Yeah.
It's font is too small.
Okay, then I'll
I'm
ask somebody. No,
joining through my mobile.
no problem. Sumati Mataji, Tanvi, can you read, ma?
Okay.
Tanvi, unmute and read, Tanvi. Read Matanvi.
When we are materially commanded, we are called content. Fails, false, consciousness in is executed under the impression that I am a product of material nature. This is called face. False ego, false ego, when who is absorbed in the thought of bodily competence cannot understand his situation. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to liberate one from the bodily conception of life, and Arjuna put himself in this position in order to receive this information from the Lord. One must become free from the bodily constitution of life that is the preliminary activity for the transcendentalist, one who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. Mukti of liberation means freedom from material consciousness in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, the definition of liberation is given Muktir Itvanta Rubam. Sarubani study Mukti means liberation from the contaminated consciousness of this material world and situation in poor consciousness. All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are intended to awaken this poor consciousness, and therefore we find at the last stage of the Gita. In this instruction that Krishna is asking Arjuna whether he is now is impure consciousness, purified consciousness means activity is accordance with the instruction of the Lord. This is the whole sum and substance of fortified consciousness. in orally they become we are part and parcel of the Lord, but for us there is the affinity of being affected by the inferior models, but the Lord being the supreme is never affected. That is the difference between the supreme Lord and the small individual souls. What is this? Consciousness is I am, then what am I in concentrated and concentrated? I am means I am the Lord of all. I serve. I am the enjoyer the world. Revolves because every living being thinks that he is the Lord and creator of the material world. Material consciousness has two positive divisions. One is that I am the creator, and the other is that I am but I am the enjoyer, but actually the Supreme Lord is both the creator and the enjoyer, and the living entity being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is neither the creator nor the enjoyer but the cooperator. He is the creator and the enjoyer for instance a part of a nation cooperative with the who mention a part of the body. Cooperates with the whole body, the hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all parts of the body, but they are not actually the enjoyers. The stomach is the enjoyer. The legs move, the hands supply food, the teeth chew, and all parts of the body are engaged in satisfying the stomach, because the stomach is the principal factor that nourishes the body's origination. Therefore, everything is given to the stomach. One nourishes the tree by watering its root, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. For if the body is to be kept in a healthy state, then then the parts of the body must cooperate to feed the stomach. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and the creator, and we as subordinate living beings are meant to cooperate to satisfy him. This cooperation will actually think that they should take the food themselves instead of giving it to the stomach. Then they will be frustrated. The central figure of creation and of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, and the living entities are master. If fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the Supreme Lord should be satisfied. Allowed the tendency to become the creator and the tendency to enjoy the material world. There also in the living entity, because these entities are there in the Supreme Lord who has created the manifested cosmic world. So my find therefore is the Bhagavad Gita. The complete whole is comprised of the Supreme Controller, the controller living entities, the cosmic manifestation, eternal time, and karma of activities, and all of these are explained in this text. All of this taken completely from the complete whole, and the complete whole is called the Supreme Absolute Truth. The complete whole and the complete absolute truth are the complete personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna, all manifestations are due to his different energies. He is the complete whole. It is also explained in the Gita that impersonal Brahma is also subordinated to the complete supreme person. Brahmana he Pratishaham Brahma is more expertly explained in the Brahma Sutra to be like the rays of the sunshine. The impersonal Brahma is the shining rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In person, Brahma is incomplete realization of the absolute whole, and so also is the conception of Paramatma. Paramatma is above both impersonal Brahma and the party-tail relations of Paramatma, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Satchidananda Vigraha, the Brahma Samhita beings is this in this way. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anandir Ade Govinda Sarva Karanam Govinda. Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the primal cause, and he is the very form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Impersonal Brahma, realization is the realization of his set eternity future Paramatma. Realization is the realization of such internal knowledge, but realization of the personality of Godhead. Krishna is relation of all the transcendental future. Sat, sit, and Ananda, eternity knowledge as this in complete Vigraha form.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. So I will just explain this and then we will stop the class today. Okay. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Thank you so much. So what they're telling is this all when we are materially affected, what happens? We have this false consciousness, false ego. What is this noise? 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So when we are materially contaminated, actually we are all pure souls, okay? But we are materially contaminated because we are in this material nature. So then we develop this false ego. Ego is our soul. All of us are unique and we all have our unique identity. That is okay. That's called ego. But false ego is identifying with this material body. Because of our karmas, whatever we are doing, every birth we get a different body and we identify with that body. Okay, that is called the false ego. Now, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to liberate us from this bodily conception of life. And so he put Arjuna in illusion, okay, so that Arjuna could get bewildered, and then Krishna could explain to him the truth.
Mataji,
Yes, ma?
Krishna only told the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, yes. Krishna only speaking the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavatam, what happens is they are talking about Krishna and his devotees. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is talking. Okay? Understood? Okay, so now pure consciousness means acting in accordance with the instructions of the Lord. Okay? So if we follow whatever Krishna is telling, whatever his devotee, the spiritual master is telling, and if we follow the instructions and act accordingly, then we are in pure consciousness. Okay? Otherwise, we are contaminated. But Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is never affected under any circumstances. He's always pure. Okay? Now, now people will have a doubt. What is consciousness? Consciousness is I am. Then you might ask another question. What am I? Okay. That's what I explained. In contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of all that I survey. I am the enjoyer. What do we think usually? We do everything for ourselves. Like, we don't do it for Krishna. Generally, people, like, but as devotees, we do everything for Krishna. So we are transcendental. Okay, we are pure because we are doing everything. We are cooking for Krishna, we are dressing Krishna, and we are offering all the things to Krishna. Even if we are to keep some flowers, we offer it to Krishna and we keep that. So everything, we first serve Krishna and we take the remnants of Krishna. Okay, whatever, and then we accept that. So that is pure. Okay. And so there we are not having false ego. So to destroy this false ego, Krishna gave all this knowledge. Okay. So all of us should cooperate to make the central figure Krishna happy. Once Krishna is satisfied with us, then we are automatically happy. Suppose we think we want everything for ourselves, then we cannot enjoy. For that, here an example is given. Like one of the example is, suppose the hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all parts of the body, but they're not actually the enjoyers. The stomach is the enjoyer. The legs move, the hands supply food, the teeth chew, and all parts of the body are engaged in satisfying the stomach, because the stomach is the principal factor that nourishes the body's organization. Yes, ma? What, Tanvi? What's your doubt?
Legs we cannot walk. With legs only we can walk.
Yes, yes. So only with the legs we can walk. Everything, the legs are walking to go and get some food, and
Important for our body.
everything is important. So finally, what we need food. Okay, all these organs are working finally for what purpose? To get some food. So they are supplying the food to the stomach. All the organs are what you said is right, Tanvi. They're walking. Okay, they're getting the food. Their eyes are seeing the food, locating like that. Everything. Then the fingers, they're taking the food and putting it in the mouth. So where is it all going finally? To the stomach. So all the organs cannot say, see, I went and got the food, and the legs will say, no, I'll put I will only eat the food. If the leg says that, and the fingers will say, no, no, I will not give it to the stomach, I will only eat. And if it's doing like that, what will happen? It will not, the teeth also will say, no, I will chew and keep it there only, I will not put it down. Then what happened? Then if nothing is going to the stomach, then only the stomach nourishes the entire body. Then all of them will dry up. Okay. Then if they fight with each other like that, nothing will happen. But if all the organs of the body cooperate and provide food to the stomach will digest the food and it will nourish the entire body. Okay. Similarly, and one nourishes the tree. How do we? Another example is, one nourishes the tree by watering its root, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. Okay, if you want to water the plant, will you water the root separately? Will you water the flower separately, the root separately, the stem separately? No. Intelligent person will only water the root. Okay, in that case, what happens? The root will supply the nourishment to the entire plant. Okay, one nourishes the tree by watering the root, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. Okay. So similarly, the similarly, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and the creator. Okay. And we, as subordinate living beings, are meant to cooperate to satisfy him. This cooperation will actually help us. Okay. The relation is also like that of the master and the servant. If the master is fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the supreme law should be satisfied. Although tendency to become the creator, because all of us, like, we need to dominate. We are usually dominating. Okay. And we want everything to ourselves. That is the false ego. Okay. So we should get out of this false ego by the instructions of Krishna. Okay. Once we read this Bhagavad Gita, in the process itself, I hope and pray that all of us will be purified. Okay. Thank you so much. We shall therefore, in this Bhagavad Gita, see, there's some more given that the complete whole is comprised of the supreme controller. What is this complete whole? It is consisting of the supreme controller, that is Krishna, the supreme controller, the jiva, that is we ourselves, then the cosmic manifestation, the nature, okay, the external nature, then the eternal time and karma or activities. This karma means the activities that we do. And all of these are explained in this text, okay, in this Bhagavad Gita. All this completely form the complete whole, and the complete whole is called the supreme absolute truth, because all these things are there in the Krishna. Okay, the complete whole and the complete absolute truth, or the complete personality of God is Sri Krishna. All manifestations are due to his different energies. He is the complete whole. We are all different energies of Krishna. Okay, and it's also explained in this one. Now I'll just give a gist. Okay, so later I'll explain it in detail about this one. So it's explained in the Gita that impersonal Brahman is also, see, there are three features: impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, and the Bhagwan. Okay, this impersonal Brahman is nothing but the effulgence of Krishna, is shining, like, his skin is glowing and shining. That is the impersonal Brahman, because it doesn't have any shape for the effulgence, like, the shine that's coming out of Krishna. Okay. The And then that is called the impersonal Brahman. And Paramatma is incomplete realization of the absolute truth, and also is also the conception of Paramatma. In the 15th chapter, it shall be seen that the supreme personality of God, Purushottama, is above this impersonal Brahman and the Paramatma. How here they're comparing, just see this. Govinda, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Okay, he is the primal cause, because Krishna is the cause for everything. Okay, everybody. He is the primal cause. He is the very form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Impersonal Brahman, okay, it has only eternity, means it is there forever. And Paramatma, it has got Sat and Chit. It has got eternity as well as it's got some eternal knowledge. Don't worry if you don't understand this now. I will explain slowly. It will come in the later chapters. And whereas Bhagwan only has all these three in full. Sat, Chit, and Ananda is eternal, is always there. And knowledge is complete knowledge, and bliss, Ananda. Okay. That's why we also get that bliss, because of the bliss in Krishna. Okay. So Krishna is the complete Vigraha, Satchidananda. Okay. Okay. So now we shall end here. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we'll meet at 7:30. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You can unmute, all of you. Unmute. Unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Nams Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Sairam Prabhu, thank you so much. Can you unmute yourself,
you.
Sairam Prabhu? Thank you so much. Which group you are in, Sairam Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Can you unmute and speak, Prabhuji? Can you unmute, Sairam Prabhuji? Okay, thank you so much. I request all of you to be there tomorrow also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, Tanvi is inspiration to all of us.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Tanvi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Soumya Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.